Today we're sharing 25 easy party appetizers that are even better when you make them ahead of time.
Because the only thing you should be doing at a party is eating and chatting. Cheers!
Our first party appetizer is a turkey club pinwheel. These are the epitome of a make-ahead appetizer, and they're incredibly easy to make. We're going to use 2 large flour tortillas for this recipe. I like to use the burrito size because they're nice and big. You know, if you wanted some color, you could also use spinach tortillas. Lay it out on a work surface and spread 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise evenly over the top. Leave 1 inch of space along the top where you're not going to put any toppings. That's going to help it stay together when you roll it. Now arrange 3 slices of provolone cheese and turkey on each tortilla. Lay 3 tomato slices on each one and the equivalent of 1½ strips of bacon down the center of each tortilla. Then top them with lettuce leaves. Roll the tortillas tightly toward the edge with no toppings. Cover your roll in plastic wrap and then twist the edges. Now you can throw this in the refrigerator for up to 3 days, or you could even freeze it for up to a month. Just make sure you do that before you slice it. When you're ready to cut it, place toothpicks every ½ inch to 3/4 inch down the side of the roll. Using a serrated knife, cut the tortillas into slices between the toothpicks into about 10 pieces. Arrange the pinwheels on a platter for serving. Then you can put them right out, or cover them and refrigerate them until you're ready to serve. I've got to say, these are always a fan favorite. And since they're so easy to make and store, you'll always be ready for guests.
We're making a super tasty charred scallion dip. This dip is like the best parts of ranch and onion dip, but totally elevated with this charred green onion and roasted garlic. It does take a minute to make, but you'll be happy to hear that it tastes even better the next day, so this is a very make-ahead friendly recipe. The first part is very hands-off. You just have to cut the top off the garlic head, drizzle on some olive oil, salt and pepper, then wrap it up in tin foil. Put that in the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. This is when you get out your cream cheese so that it can soften. Before starting on the next task, wait until the garlic is done in the oven because we're going to need the broiler for the green onions. That's the garlic done. Now we're ready for the scallions, or green onions as we often call them in the US. Grab a whole bunch. Cut off the roots and any yellow stems. Put them on a baking sheet with some high smoke point oil, not olive oil. Season with salt and pepper. Now we're gonna put the green onions on the top rack in the oven under broil until they're nice and charred. You need to broil them until they're mostly charred. It might feel strange waiting that long, but do it, it's all flavor. When they're cooled a bit, chop them up. This is the fun part, squeeze out all that garlic into a bowl. Add the scallions, 8 ounces of cream cheese, 6 ounces of sour cream, and a pinch of salt and pepper. Mix it all up. As I mentioned, this is even better the next day, so you want to put this in the fridge and let it sit. All those flavors are going to meld. It's going to be especially delicious. Serve it on some crackers or bread slices and you've got a really great dip that no one's seen before.
You're going to love these marinated mozzarella balls. They're flavorful, elegant, and very easy to make ahead. Start out by grabbing a jar that's 8 ounces or larger. Combine 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley and/or basil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 1 garlic clove, 1/4 teaspoon red pepper flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/3 cup of olive oil. Stir that together. You want to use 8 ounces of these little cherry-sized balls of fresh mozzarella cheese. These are called ciliegine, and they're named for the Italian word for little cherries. Add those to the jar. Now you can add the last 1/3 cup of oil to the jar. You just want to make sure that the oil covers the cheese balls completely. If not, add just a little bit more. Put on the lid, give it a little shake, and refrigerate it. It needs at least an hour, but if you're making it ahead, you can store it for up to a week in the fridge. Prepped in 10 minutes and easy to store, these have to be the best easy appetizer out there. These sticky honey garlic meatballs are my go-to for just about any party. They're easy to make ahead and just as good the next day. For the meatballs, you can buy them frozen or you can make your own. Let me show you just how easy this is to do. You'll need some ground beef, panko breadcrumbs, an egg, garlic, green onions, soy sauce, salt and pepper. Mix that all up. Forming meatballs can be really tedious, but also a little cathartic, so take a minute to slow down and just roll some meatballs. I'm gonna use my air fryer for these. It's just an easy, mess-free way to cook. So space your meatballs out on the air fryer basket so that they're not touching, and then we're gonna cook them at 380 degrees for about 8 minutes. You can also bake these in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 18 to 20 minutes, or you can pan fry them. While the meatballs are cooking away back there, let's start the sauce. To a skillet, you want to add honey. It's always the messy part. Soy sauce, garlic, rice vinegar, and some sesame oil. Whisk it all together. Stir in that cornstarch slurry, which is going to thicken it up a bit. Then let it simmer for about 5 minutes. When the meatballs are done, they can go directly into the sauce. Toss them around in the sauce and get them all coated. Then you can garnish them with some sesame seeds, green onions, and serve them hot. This one is all about the sun-dried tomatoes and the Parmesan. 2 really great umami ingredients, exactly what makes a great dip. You're gonna need the usual, cream cheese. Then we're gonna add some Greek yogurt. Add in half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of thyme, a 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes, and about 2 tablespoons of fresh minced basil. For the sun-dried tomatoes, get the ones in the jar with the oil. Then all you need to do is give them a rough chop. We're adding about 1/4 of a cup. We're also going to add a little bit of oil for the extra flavor, just about a teaspoon. Finally, this dip needs some Parmesan. For the highest quality, you really should grate it directly from the block. Add the cheese to the dip, and then give it a good stir to get everything fully incorporated. Let this chill in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. It gives the herbs time to blend in and the flavors to meld. It looks pretty fancy with a little basil on top. This is gonna serve about 10 people. This cold dip is great served with crackers or veggies. You won't believe the amazing flavor that those tomatoes give to this dip. And it only gets better the longer it sits in the fridge. These potato salad bites are a perfect make-ahead party appetizer. Start out by cooking your potatoes. These are baby red potatoes, and they take about 12 minutes to cook through. Drain them when they're done. You don't want to play hot potato, trust me, so let them cool before you slice them in half. I'm going to chop up the last 2 and put them in the bowl, scoop the insides out of the rest. Slice a bit off the bottom so that they sit flat, and then put them on your serving platter. Now you have a bowl of potatoes to work with, so add the mayo, mustard, pickles, pickle juice, salt and pepper, and stir it all up. You want to add the chopped eggs at the end so that they don't get too broken up. Stuff each of the potato shells with the salad. Then garnish them all with paprika and parsley. And they take up the perfect amount of space on your already loaded food plate. Your guests are going to love you for that. Our second appetizer is cheese and bacon stuffed celery. It's a satisfyingly crunchy and creamy snack in the perfect handheld form. First, grab some fresh celery and chop these stalks into 3 pieces. Next up, the bacon. We're cooking up 3 strips until they're nice and crispy. Once it's cooked, crumble it up. Put a block of softened cream cheese into a bowl. In goes shredded cheese, crispy bacon, fresh chives, a little salt and pepper, and a few dashes of hot sauce for a tiny kick. Give it all a good mix. Now just scoop or pipe that creamy, cheesy goodness into the celery. I like to overfill it just a little bit because, well, why not? That's how easy these are. Seriously, super crunchy, so flavorful. What's not to like?
If you're a taco lover like I am, you have to make these mini tacos. We make them every time family comes over. They make a great appetizer and even a great lunch. Put your shredded chicken in a pan and heat it up. Then add the taco seasoning and some water and just let it all meld together. I'm using straight taco corn tortillas for this today. These are just the right size. Brush or spray some oil on the tortillas to help them crisp up. Then you can add the chicken and the cheese. We'll bake this for about 1 minute at 425 degrees, just until the cheese melts. Then you can get it out of the oven and fold them over. Squish them down a little so they stick. Then bake it again for 10 minutes. In the middle of that cooking time, you'll want to flip them over so that they get crisped up evenly. When they're done, add your sour cream, tomatoes, and jalapeno. They're ready to serve. What I love about these tacos is how crispy they get. But the cheese inside makes them nice and gooey and delicious.
Next up are these delicious Tex Mex Eggrolls. Now these are really similar to the Chili's Southwestern egg rolls, if you're familiar with those. They're tasty and totally customizable. Plus, they freeze well, so you can make them ahead of time. In a hot skillet, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of cooking oil, and then I'm gonna add the chicken. We're just gonna let that brown for about 5 minutes. While our filling is cooking, we're gonna mix up the dipping sauce. This one is super easy and you are gonna love it, I promise. I'm using my mini food processor today. You just need half an avocado, a nice ripe one, half cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of dry ranch seasoning, and a splash of milk. Blend that up and you've got an amazing thick and creamy dipping sauce. And trust me, you'll use it all. The chicken's almost cooked through, so let's season it. We've got some cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and a little salt and pepper. Now add a 1/3 cup corn, a 1/3 cup black beans, a 1/3 cup of red pepper, a 1/3 cup of onion, and about 6 sprigs of cilantro chopped. Stir it all together and cook it just a couple more minutes. Now it's time to add the cheese. I'm using 3/4 cup pepper jack cheese here. Okay, now we're ready to roll. I'm using egg roll wrappers today because they're easy to find and they crisp up really well. You could wrap these in flour tortillas also. I like both equally. So we're just gonna put a 1/4 cup of filling right into the center. Wet the edges, fold the sides in, and roll it up tightly like a burrito. Now you can decide how you want to cook yours. I prefer my air fryer. I'm going to spritz them with oil and then I'm going to air fry them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 3 minutes per side. These are done and they look fantastic. Serve them hot with your dipping sauce. They're always a hit.
We've been seeing dirty martini recipes everywhere lately. Everybody must be really into those deep, briny flavors. Well, I know I am. I have always loved a dirty martini, and now we have the dip to go with it. What we're gonna need is 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. Be sure to give it at least 30 minutes at room temperature so it's easier to mix. 4 ounces of sour cream, 2 tablespoons grated onion, ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, ½ cup of chopped green olives, 2 teaspoons of olive brine, and maybe about 1/4 cup of blue cheese crumbles. Okay, the olives. Obviously you need a really nice green olive, something that you like to eat that has a really good flavor and texture. I like these Spanish manzanilla olives. You'll start by mixing the cream cheese, sour cream, grated onions, a splash of olive brine, and garlic powder in a bowl. Just mix until it's smooth and combined. Then you can add the chopped olives, and there's an option to toss in the blue cheese if you want to go bold. Once you've got it all mixed up, maybe just give it a little taste. Make sure it's what you want. And then we're gonna let this rest in the fridge for about 30 minutes so that it chills and starts to really build flavors. Top it with some more olives and chives. Serve it with crackers or crostini, and that's it.
These puff pastry ham and cheese pinwheels are the perfect appetizer for any party. They're crunchy, tasty, and really easy to pick up and eat. To make them, combine cream cheese, Dijon mustard, and parsley. Unroll the puff pastry and spread on the cream cheese mixture. Layer on ham and shredded cheddar. Roll it up and slice it. Then brush it with an egg wash and bake it for 25 minutes at 375 degrees. These are so good, they definitely won't last long. Next up is this hot beef and bean dip that always disappears fast. The ingredients you'll need are 1 can of refried beans, half a pound of ground beef, 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 4 ounces of sour cream, 4 ounces or a small can of green chilies, and 2 cups of shredded cheese. The first step is to brown the ground beef. Be sure to remove the excess grease before you add it to the dip. You also want to make sure it's nice and browned for extra flavor. Once it's browned, add your taco seasoning and some water. Then just let it simmer for a minute. I'm using an 8x8 dish here. This is enough to serve about 10 people. Transfer the ground beef to the dish and spread it out. Now we're going to mix together the refried beans, the softened cream cheese, sour cream, and the green chilies. Then spread the mixture into the baking dish over the ground beef. Then sprinkle on the shredded cheese. Pop this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. You'll know it's ready when the cheese is melted and it's bubbling around the edges. Serve it warm with tortilla chips and you're good to go. No one's stopping at just 1 scoop of this, trust me. We're making Mexican street corn in these cute little cups. Grab a bowl and fill it with the corn, mayo, lime juice, zest, green onions, jalapenos, chili powder, and salt. Give it a good stir. Then cover it and refrigerate it for at least 20 minutes to let the flavors meld. Now that they're all filled, you can add some crumbled cotija, some cilantro, and a lime wedge for garnish. Here's another super simple one for you. Delicious little Caprese skewers. Grab 2 basil leaves. These need to be at least medium-sized leaves. Wrap them around a tomato and mozzarella ball. Then stick a toothpick through the whole thing. Do this 19 more times and you're done. Sprinkle on some flake salt to boost the flavor of the mozzarella. Then drizzle on a little high-quality olive oil and balsamic glaze. I think it's pretty safe to say that no one will turn down these amazing mini burritos. I could eat these all day. Brown the ground beef and remove any excess grease. Then add the taco seasoning and mix it all up. Heat up those tortillas just a little bit. I'm using street taco size flour tortillas. Load them up with all those fillings. You can change it up any way you like, then just roll them up. I put some beans on the edge to hold them together. You can bake or air fry these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. They'll turn out nice, crispy, and hot inside, ready for dipping into your favorite salsa.
Ground beef taquitos are the kind of snack that disappears the second they hit the table. Start by cooking ground beef with onions, add taco seasoning, salsa, cream cheese, and cheddar, and get it nice and flavorful. Spoon the mixture onto corn tortillas, roll them up tight, and bake, fry, or air fry until they're golden and crispy. Serve them with salsa, guacamole, or sour cream for dipping, and you've got the ultimate crowd pleaser.
These mini ham and cheese quiches are the perfect finger food for just about any party. You can be really creative here too. Use any fillings you have handy or mix and match. Start by greasing a muffin tin. Unroll the dough and cut them into 12 rounds with a 2.5-inch biscuit cutter or a cup if you don't have one. Press each of the rounds into the wells of the tin. Now in a bowl, mix the egg, milk, salt, pepper, cheese, and ham. Pour that into the cups and fill them up. Time to put these in the oven. They need about 20 to 25 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I love these little mini quiches for an Easter dinner. You can take them as an appetizer, or if you're having a potluck, they're great for that too.
These Philly cheesesteak egg rolls are a great finger food that's easy to eat and so delicious. Start by cooking the onions and bell peppers until slightly softened, then add the beef and finish cooking. Set an egg roll wrapper out on the work surface with the end pointing toward you. Fill each with about 1/4 of a cup of the beef and a slice of cheese. Brush some egg wash around the edges and roll it up tight. Now you can air fry or bake these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 18 minutes until they're golden brown and crispy. Serve them with some cheese dip on the side.
These mini pizzas are made with just 5 ingredients and they get gobbled up in seconds. We use store-bought pizza dough to make these super easy. Cut circles that fit inside the muffin tin. Lightly grease the tin, then place the dough circles into each well. Spoon on the sauce, then the cheese and pepperoni. Bake it for 10 minutes until it's golden brown and the cheese is melted. Don't forget to keep one for yourself.
I just took this amazing garlic butter brie pull-apart bread to my mother-in-law's house for a family party and everyone raved about it. Take a large round loaf of bread, slice it vertically and horizontally, creating a grid pattern. Be careful not to cut all the way through the bottom. Cut the brie into small cubes. Press the cubes down into the cuts in the bread, spacing them out so that you get melty cheese all throughout the loaf. I'm gonna heat this butter and garlic over medium-low heat and add rosemary and some salt and pepper, and just cook it until the garlic starts to sizzle and becomes really fragrant. Now slowly pour that garlic butter all over the bread, making sure that it seeps down into all of those little cuts. Wrap the bread loosely in aluminum foil and place it in the oven. Bake it covered on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes so that the cheese melts and everything warms up. Then you can unwrap the foil and bake it for another 10 minutes so that the bread gets nice and crispy. Once it comes out of the oven, sprinkle some fresh parsley over the top. Now comes the fun part. Everybody just pulls off a cheesy piece. It'll be a guest favorite for sure. Crispy beef tacos are the perfect mix of crunchy, cheesy, and totally satisfying. Start by cooking ground beef with onions, add taco seasoning, salsa, and cheese until it's rich and flavorful. Spoon the beef into corn tortillas, sprinkle with plenty of cheddar, then fold them over and cook on a hot pan until the tortillas are golden and crispy. These are perfect for snacking or serving at a party. These sausage pinwheels are another classic make-ahead appetizer. Start by browning the sausage along with some shredded cheese. Use whatever kind you like. You might also put some salt and pepper in there for extra flavor. Spread on the sausage mixture going edge to edge, but don't put it on too thick or it'll leak out and make the pastry soggy. Starting from the long end, roll the pastry up tightly like a jelly roll and cut them into about 1/2 inch rounds. Place them flat on a parchment-lined baking sheet, then we can brush the tops with a little bit of egg wash. Bake these for 15 to 18 minutes. These can be served hot or at room temperature. These mini corn dog bites are a hit with both kids and adults. So to make these really easy, I am using a box of Jiffy corn mix. For the Jiffy mix, you just need to add the corn mix and an egg and milk. Then whisk it all up. There will still be some clumps here, that's fine. Don't overstir it. And now we can cut the hot dogs into pieces. Spray the muffin tin pretty well so that the cornbread doesn't stick. Then we're going to fill up each well just about halfway. Stick a hot dog piece into each one of those. Then we're going to bake these at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. When they're done, let them sit for just a minute or two so they're not so hot, and then you can eat them right out of the pan. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Now it's time for a little sweet bite. I am making mini cannoli cups. Years ago, I made actual cannoli for a friend's birthday, and it was a complete disaster. Turns out making cannoli is not that easy. You have to roll the dough. Long story short, I am making mini cups this time because this is gonna be way easier. I've got store-bought pie crust that I've rolled out on a floured surface, and I'm just gonna sprinkle on some brown sugar and cinnamon. And I'm just gonna roll this gently, and this will help the sugar and cinnamon to stick to the dough. Using a 2.5 inch cookie cutter, cut out little rounds from the dough. Then we're just gonna press these into a little mini muffin tin. All done. These are going into a 425-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. You want them nice and golden and crispy. While those are baking, let's make the ricotta filling. I've got about 8 ounces of ricotta here, and I'm adding 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon orange zest, and 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. Mix it until it's creamy. Scoop this filling right into a piping bag. You could also use a zip top bag if you don't have a piping bag. And we're just gonna refrigerate this until we're ready to serve it, because These little cannolis are best filled right before you're ready to use them. That'll keep the cup nice and crisp. Let these cool in the pan for about 10 minutes. When you're ready to go, pipe about a tablespoon of filling into each cup. Then top them with mini chocolate chips and chopped pistachios. These little cannoli bites are perfect for a party, and I didn't have to splash oil all over the kitchen to make them.
Finally, we're ending the night with these mini tiramisu cups. If you like tiramisu for dessert as much as I do, then you are gonna love these. We're gonna start by getting everything ready to go. Combine 1 cup of cooled brewed espresso or strong coffee with 2 tablespoons of coffee liqueur. In a separate bowl, mix together the softened mascarpone, sugar, and vanilla extract. With a handheld mixer, blend it really well until it's smooth and creamy. This gives the filling that light, mousse-like texture. The next thing that we need to make for our delicious little tiramisu cups is some whipped topping. It's just whipped cream, and I'm gonna whip it to soft peaks. Gently fold the mascarpone mixture in the whipped cream until it's fully combined and fluffy. It should be thick enough to hold upside down on a spoon, but still pillowy. So we're ready for the lady fingers. Dip the lady fingers into the coffee mixture, just a quick dunk, and layer them into the bottom of your serving cups. Top it with a generous spoonful of cream, then repeat with another layer of coffee-dipped lady fingers. And a final layer of that dreamy filling. Dust the tops with a little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder. And if you're feeling fancy, sprinkle on some dark chocolate shavings. They need to go in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours before you eat them. The lady fingers soaked up tons of coffee flavor, and they're the perfect size for a small little treat at the end of the night. Now you have 25 great make-ahead appetizers to make your next party delicious and stress-free.
And if you're planning a party, you'll definitely want to check out our Easy Party Dips video because every good party spread needs a couple of dips.